Hello everyone, this is Jessica Warren with Into the Warren. This channel is dedicated to the art and craft of crochet, but today we're actually going to steer off topic a little bit. I was thinking and watching other videos, this is kind of an old tag I think, but the 10 non-Yarney things about myself, I thought, maybe I should do that because then people will know a little bit more about me. Maybe we can make some connections. I think it's really important to build relationships within the crochet community, and what better way than to kind of, point out some cool things maybe you've done in your life. I love to watch everybody else's, so if you would like, you can also share 10 non-Yarney things about yourself in the comments. I would love to learn more about each and every one of you. So let's begin with 10 non-Yarney things about myself. So I'm going to start with number one. Number one is I am from New York State. Not the city, but upstate New York. And a lot of people think upstate New York is Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo. No. I'm from upstate New York, like almost to the Canadian border in the Adirondack Mountains. That is where I spent the majority of my life, graduated high school there. So I am a New York Stater, New Yorker. People are always like, well, where's your New York accent? We don't all have accents. That's just the city mostly. And so that is where I am from. And now I live in Florida. And I have lived in Florida for, 9 years, 8 years, 8.5 years. I'm not a huge fan of Florida for multiple reasons. One, the heat is really rough on me. I'm not like a hot weather person. And also the people sometimes in Florida, we don't always see eye to eye, and some of the rules and regulations here I don't always agree with. I'm more on the left side and I'm in a very conservative area. So, but that's okay. It's a learning experience when you're with people who have different beliefs. You just have to learn how to respect each other the best you can. And will I live in Florida the rest of my life? I don't know. The reason why I'm here is a couple reasons. My parents moved to Florida, and both of my brothers live in Florida, and I married a man who's from Florida, and he hates the cold. And there's very few places that aren't cold, at least some of the time of the year. So he really loves Florida, and because I love and care about him and I want him to be happy, I was like, okay, let's live in Florida for a while. So here I am in good old Florida. That's the first thing. Number two, speaking of husband, I am married to a man named Scott, and he and I are actually 16 years apart. Yes, 16. He's almost 50. I am 33 this year. I think he's 49 this year. Yeah, 49. We met when we worked together at a printing company, and I was a graphic designer and he ran the printing press, and we kind of hit it off. Actually, we hated each other at first. We got into a lot of arguments. He was very grumpy. But then after time, we just kind of started liking each other and dating, and even our, where we worked, they actually held a wedding party for us, and we got married. And we've been married for 5 years this past March. So we've been together 7 and been married for 5. So we have a very great relationship. It's very loving. We are a good team, a good partnership. He's very helpful and responsible, and he's a great dad. And I just love him so much. He is definitely my soulmate above all people in this world. So we are a great team. So let's see, number 3, I did go to college. I actually went to 2 colleges. When I graduated from high school, I went to Atlanta because I lived in this little country mountain town. And when I was 17, I was like, I've got to get out of here. I hate living in the middle of nowhere. Of course, now I'm like, I wish I would lived in the woods and the mountains again. So you never know what you want at any given time. So I moved to the big city of Atlanta, and I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, where I have my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in graphic design. I always wanted to be an artist, a designer, and I received my degree there along with a buttload of crazy student loan debt that I am still paying to this day and will pay till I die most likely. So It's a little bit of a burden, and I'm sure a lot of you know someone, have children, or yourselves all, you know, kind of are experiencing that student loan debt craziness that's happening. When you're young, you don't really know. You just think, once I graduate, I will get this great job and I'll just pay it back, you know, and it doesn't always work the way you planned, and it's a lot of debt and the interest is very high. So word to the wise, you may want to consider going to school in-state at a public university, or you may want to go to community college for the first couple of years, then go to a bigger school to save some money, save while you can, get as many grants and scholarships as you can. Don't do what I did, although I did learn a lot. I had good quality education there, but it's almost like a second mortgage, so it is always going to be kind of on my shoulders, which is hard. And then I then went to the school. There was a point in my life where I didn't know what I was doing. I was just working, and I wanted some sort of purpose, and I'll tell you why I got this degree in a second. But I went to the University of West Florida when I lived on the panhandle of Florida, and got a cultural anthropology degree there, a bachelor's of arts there. So I have 2 bachelor's degrees because I just like to go to school mostly. But both of them were great, you know, great experiences. I love school. I encourage you to learn, even if you don't necessarily use your degree. It's always a good thing to learn. So that's what I have as far as education. And then now what are we on? 4? The 4th thing is why I got my anthropology degree. Because when I graduated from Atlanta, I went into the Peace Corps. So I am a returned Peace Corps volunteer. I served in Togo, the country that's located in West Africa beside Ghana, for 2 years of my life, actually a little over 2 years. I was a girls' education and empowerment volunteer, and I served there in a small village with no electricity, no telephones except for like a local telephone cabin that cost a lot of money and was had some issues with connecting sometimes. No refrigeration, no plumbing. I lived there. I was the only American that lived in the village, and I had to depend on fellow villagers to kind of teach me what to do and how to live day to day. Peace Corps only pays you like livable wages, which is not very much there. I believe, well, when I was in the Peace Corps, it was, let's see, I left 9 years ago already. I've been back in America. It's crazy. But, you know, their francs and our dollars, their money is worth very little. And with our money there, you could live pretty well. It's a country, I don't know now because it's been 9 years, although it's the same president. They kind of rigged the elections there. But when I lived there, it was a country very impoverished, very polluted. There's a lot of litter. People just throw things on the ground. There are potholes in the roads. There's corrupt military and police officers there who take bribes. And life there is very challenging, and people have to work very hard to live and take care of their families. But I will say that the Togolese people themselves are amazing. They are so friendly, caring. They will always help and support each other. They have a lot of fun. They laugh a lot. They have celebrations. They are just some of the kindest people that I've ever met in my life. And I think America could learn a lot about communication and relationships from the Togolese people. It was a great experience. I went in being a spoiled little brat with an attitude, and I came out very humbled and a little bit wiser and a little bit more. I had more of an understanding of how really, truly powerful human beings are and how you can adapt when you need to. So I came back a lot more mature and a lot more grown up. I don't think I'd be half the person I am today without being in the Peace Corps. And I really, it was such a hard experience, but it really was worth the time, and it was worth all of the illness and hunger. I think I went in, I was very overweight when I got out of college. I think I was like 240 pounds. And then 2 years later, when I left Togo, I was 149 pounds. So I lost a lot of weight while I was there too, just because I just ate really rice, beans, fish, corn paste, very simple things, very whole food, and I walked everywhere. I had no, I had no vehicle. I had to either take a taxi or a motorcycle or that kind of thing. So I got stronger and more resilient. So yes, if you ever considered wanting to be in the Peace Corps, I really do highly recommend it. You have to have some sort of degree. You can be married and both people can go. And you can be any age. I think the oldest volunteer was like 80 something. There are opportunities for that. It's really fun and a great experience. Okay, so what are we on now? We're on 5. Anyway, that's why I went into anthropology. I wanted to study culture, and I took the first step but never continued on with my master's or anything like that. So number 5, I'm gonna have to go get. I'll be right back. So number 5 is this big guy. Oh, let me see if I can pick him up. He's so heavy. Here he is. This is Victor. This is my puppy. He's not really a puppy anymore. We've had him since he was 6 months old and a little sweet thing, and now he's a big boy. He's gonna be 5 years old in May, and he's a decent big brother. He felt very threatened when Brooke came into the world. He wanted to be the only child. But he's coming around now that she drops food for him to eat. Right, baby? So this is my fur baby. And if I'm out of breath, he's heavy. He's a heavy boy. Yeah. So anyway, I just disturbed his nap. But I just wanted to introduce you to Victor. Say hi, Vic. He's a sweet boy. He really is. He's a good boy. All right, I'm gonna go put him away. Okay, so number 6 is that I am a registered yoga teacher. I have been practicing yoga for a number of years, and I did take my 200-hour Yoga Alliance training at a studio, and I did teach yoga at studios for a while, but since I got pregnant with Brooke, I decided to take a break, and I haven't gotten back into it in a while. And it's very sad because yoga is so good for you. It's so good for your mind, if anything. A lot of people think it's all about stretching and doing crazy poses, but for me, someone who does get anxious very easily and worried a lot, yoga is a great way to kind of notice the thoughts that are coming into your brain and going, these are just thoughts, I'm not going to be attached to them, I'm just going to sit there and look at them pass by and just notice them, and that's it. Not get so attached, so hard on yourself, every thought that you have. Because when you can control your thoughts, you can control whether or not you choose to be happy, sad, angry, worried. You get to decide whether or not you want to be happy every single day if you control your thoughts. And then also, it's all about listening to that little voice inside, your conscience. And sometimes we listen to our egos more than our conscience. So it's a great way to kind of be still, be with yourself, kind of focus inward, inside, and not always be out, and reacting to everything in your environment. So it's a very great thing to practice. I really do need to get into it. There are phases in our lives where we become so enraptured in certain things, and then there are times where we just put them down, we set them aside, and we do something else. It's like a cycle sometimes. And right now in the cycle, I've just stepped away from yoga and picked up other things. That is something that I need to kind of reflect on and figure out why this is happening and what's the next step in improving my health again and my mind again, because yoga does help a lot. So I am a yoga teacher, and I encourage everyone to try yoga at least one time. I think you will like it. It's a lot more than you think if you just assume what yoga is or see it on Instagram, people standing on their heads. That's not really yoga. That's just showing off. That's ego, really. It really is just ego. Number 7 is, and you all know this by now, but I am a mom. I just had my one and only child last year. She is almost 10 months old, almost 1 year old. I had to plan a birthday party. Her name is Brooke. She's a beautiful, beautiful, strong, smart, fun, super sassy girl already. I'm gonna blame my husband and I equally because we're both kind of sarcastic and sassy. But she's amazing, and it's truly one of the best things I ever did in my life is to have her. When my whole life I didn't even want to have kids, it just started to form in my mind as I reached like my 30s. I said, okay, I'm reaching the point where it might not be possible or harder or more risk involved. Do I want to have a kid? Do I want to have a baby? And to me, my answer was yes, because number one, I think when you love someone so much, you want to have a baby that looks like them. I don't know what it is. You're just like, I want to have a kid because it's you, you know, I'm with you. So she does look a lot like her dad. And I don't know, something in me, I was like, just take the chance and, you know, just do it. A lot of it was just fear, because I do love children a lot. And I love my nephew. He was born first. And I love being an aunt, so I just bit the bullet. I talked to my husband, and 3 months later, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm fertile. I guess we're having a kid. So I had a C-section, but first I had 16 hours of labor, back labor, because she was facing she was sunny side up, they call it. She was face up. And when they're face up, a lot of times the back of their head is pressed onto your spine. Even with the meds, it was horrible. I had 16 hours of labor. I dilated all the way to 10 centimeters, and still, I pushed and pushed and pushed for 2 hours. Nothing was happening. She was just stuck in there. And so they said, we're going to have to do a C-section. I think that's the safest way. I said, as long as I'm out of pain, as long as you give me pain medicine so I don't have to suffer anymore, just do it. Because typically I'd be scared to death of having any kind of operation because I never had one before. But at that point I was like, please just get her out. I want her to be safe. I'm exhausted. Please just, you know, just do what you have to do. And man, I wish I had done the C-section 10 hours earlier, because it was a breeze. It really was. And then the moment I felt like this, like, kind of like pop, and out she came yelling and crying, and I just started bawling, and they gave her to me, and she had like a little unicorn head because I had tried to push her, so her head was a little like pointy, and she was just big and pink and adorable, and I was just like, wow, okay. And it's been quite a journey ever since. I am so blessed to have her. I really am. And I'm not even religious, but I am truly blessed to have her. I'm truly blessed to have my whole family. So yeah, so Brooke is here like a whirlwind, and I love her so much. Number 8, I am the oldest of my siblings. I have 2 little brothers, and I'm very bossy, as they can attest to. I've always had to set an example. My older brother is a school psychologist, and my younger brother, he went to school for criminal justice, but he works in security. Very good people. We have a good relationship, and my older brother lives about an hour and a half away from me, and my other brother lives like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I don't see him as often. He works a lot, and his girlfriend works a lot. She's a photographer. She does beautiful things. I'll link her YouTube video below. She does like resin art and miniature photography art, and her YouTube channel is really growing a lot, and she's very talented, so I'll link that below if you would like to check her out. Number 9 is that I have been dealing, so number 9 I would say is dealing with a lot of weight and health stuff in my life. There have been periods of time where I've been pretty large, especially in college, and then Peace Corps, I lost a lot of weight, like I said, and then I came back to the US, gained most of it back. met my husband, and through exercise and eating, tracking my calories, I lost about 100 pounds and was back to a healthy weight. When I had Brooke, all the weight came back, creeping on me, and I lost a little bit, then gained a bunch back again, and right now I am in the process of trying to kind of regain control of my health and fix the lifestyle that I'm living, because I'm just kind of haven't been eating great. This week I have lost 3 pounds by tracking my food, which might not seem like a lot, but in a week, you know, dropping the extra water weight and just kind of resetting how I'm eating, I'm hoping that it will help me kind of stick to my journey. So I'm working on that as well. So hopefully I can continue to have the willpower to do it. Well, there's no hopefully, I have to do it. There's really no choice. I don't want to be unhealthy. I've got to take care of myself so I can take care of my family. So that's number 9. That's kind of going to be intertwined with all my other stuff that I'm doing in my life, is to get my physical self back to the way it should be. And number 10, I think what I'll do for number 10 is show you, I do have 2 tattoos. I'm sure you've caught glimpses of them. I only have 2, but they're very large, and I was going to show them to you. So they're both on my arm. The first one, let me stand. The first one is Frida Kahlo, and I know I mentioned Frida in a previous video about her being an artist. She is one of my biggest role models in the art world. Like I said, she had a mustache and a unibrow and flowers in her hair. So this is the first tattoo I ever got, and I got it a few years ago, and I really love it so much. And then a few months after Brooke was born, I've got the second tattoo. This tattoo represents Brooke and I. So I did our flowers, like our birthday flowers. So the month of June is when Brooke was born, which is a rose. And I'm an August baby, so it is a poppy. So I put the poppy and the rose together. It just symbolizes my daughter and I. And this one hurts so much. Like, any tattoos anywhere near your armpit or your inner arm, oh gosh. Like the one, this Frida one, the only time it hurt is when it was already 3 hours and I was just kind of like tired and worn out. But the flowers, whew, and it bruises afterwards. When I got home, I had to take a nap because I had like a migraine. The inner arm's pretty tough, and I think my pain threshold's pretty good, but those two, whew. Anyway, but I do want to get more. I love tattoos. I love art. I get crap from some people. I get support from others. I actually took my mom to get her first tattoo. She loves tattoos. She's very artsy as well. And I really love them very much. And my husband hates tattoos, but he loves these tattoos. So that's good. I think if you get a good quality tattoo artist and you invest the right kind of money, you can get actual real art and not just junk, you know. So that's kind of what my goal is. I think the next one will be a red bird, because I have a business called Redbird Malas, and I've always used red birds in all of my branding and things like that. So those are the 10 things about me. I hope it was somewhat interesting. I hope you feel like you maybe have gotten to know me a little bit better. I'd love to get to know more about you, so please share some cool, interesting stuff about your life or things that you do. I would love to see them, and the next video I do will be back to crochet. I just didn't want to only show you a couple things today and make it just kind of like a blah video. I just wanted to save up some of the work to show you later, and I am working on some cool stuff. So I will see you next time. It'll probably be a few days. I have to go to the office tomorrow and the next day, but I will be back soon. I hope you all have an excellent day. I love you all so much. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.